It is so fast to get dinner on the table when you use these ground beef skillet meals because the beef is already cooked. You're going to cook it all at one time. You can brown a whole bunch of ground beef in your oven or in a roasting oven or even a slow cooker. You can also just brown it in the skillet, but if you're making a lot of meals at one time, you might want to put your ground beef on a tray that is lined with foil. Get it in your oven. You do want to break it up a few times during cooking so that you don't have large clumps. But when it's done, you can let it cool, put it in the fridge overnight because it's good to do your prep the day before. And then you've got lots of ground beef to work with and you can assemble many, many meals at once. And then because the ground beef portion is already, it's already cooked, when you go to cook these up, dinner's on the table in 10 minutes or less.
And while I'm doing my ground beef in the oven, it's doing its own thing. I'm chopping onions, I'm doing my other prep, some green peppers, or whatever you need so that the next day your prep is totally done and it is bang, bang, bang into the bag and into your freezer, and we're gonna show you how.
The first recipe we're going to share with you is our Firecracker ground beef stir fry. I like this one because it's a little bit of a departure from your regular beef strip stir fry, and you can also kick it up a notch if you like things spicy. So into your large freezer bag, you're going to add your cooked ground beef, some frozen green beans, sliced red pepper, sliced onion, minced garlic, we just use our garlic from a jar. Some ginger, we like to use the squeezy tube for that. Honey, Frank's Red Hot Sauce, you can increase the amount if you like things spicier. Red wine vinegar, salt, pepper, and red pepper flakes. You're just gonna shake everything together in the bag so that it combines it, and you're gonna get as much air as you can out of the bag so that you don't end up with freezer burn. You're gonna seal it, get it in your freezer. On the day you make this one, you thaw it, you dump the entire contents of that large bag into a skillet or a wok, and because the ground beef is already cooked, this just needs to stir fry for 7 to 10 minutes until those veggies soften a bit, and you can serve this one over rice or rice noodles. It is an all-in-one meal that is even healthy. It's got some veggies in there.
It does have some veggies in there. Now, before you come at us for putting ground beef in a stir fry, I'm gonna tell you something. There have been times in my life when I have looked in my freezer or fridge and thought, okay, I have a pound of ground beef. What am I gonna make with it? I don't wanna make a casserole. I don't wanna make a spaghetti sauce. I want something fresh. I want something with veggies in it that has a kick. I wonder if I could make a stir fry with ground beef. I know it's weird, but I'm gonna do it. And you can do it. You can do it. You can do whatever you want. It's your kitchen. If you put the recipe together right, it's still going to taste great. It's still gonna be fast, and you're gonna be so glad that you have this done. So doing it ahead of time and getting it into your freezer is a no-brainer. In the same vein, this Thai beef basil skillet is also very, very good and super simple to put together. Into our large bag, we're going to add our browned and cooled ground beef, sliced red pepper, some sliced purple onion, some carrots that have been cut into tiny matchsticks, some minced garlic, some Thai basil leaves or just regular basil leaves if you can't find the Thai basil leaves. We're going to add in a fresh ginger from the squeezy tube, some soy sauce, brown sugar, fish sauce, some salt, and lime juice. Mix that around right in the bag, get your excess air out, and seal it up and freeze it. When you go to cook this, again, just allow it to thaw. It will not take long. Throw it into your skillet, make some rice, and bam, you have supper on the table that has veggies in it, that tastes great, and that is a total departure from other things that you're going to be doing with ground beef.
The reason we're showing you skillet meals made with just ground beef today is because one of the easiest ways to save a lot of money, like we're talking thousands a year on your grocery bill, is to be able to take full advantage of the sales. When you find a sale on ground beef, if you're just cooking regularly every day, then when you see that ground beef on sale, you really can only get a little bit of it for 1 or 2 recipes, unless you want to be eating ground beef every single day that week. Whereas if you're doing freezer meals, you can take full advantage of that sale. You can buy a lot. Like, you can buy a case of it if you want. You can bring that home, cook it all up, make it into a variety of meals, and it really doesn't take you very long to assemble them once your prep is done. And then you can get them in your freezer so that you're not eating ground beef every day. You can take out a ground beef meal once a week. These meals last 3 to 6 months in your freezer, so don't worry, you're not gonna be eating ground beef all the time. It's just such a great way to take advantage of that sale and be able to create meals with a lot of variety.
The other thing that you'll be sure you'll want to do is double these. If you're gonna make one, make two. If you're gonna chop one onion, chop two. It really doesn't take that much longer, but you can double your efforts and only have to wash your knife once, only have to wash your cutting board once. And so you're saving time that way. And I'm gonna tell you one more way you're gonna save money. Because you have the meals in your freezer, are you gonna be as likely to stop at a drive-thru on your way home from work? No. Are you going to hit that delivery app? No. Why would I? I have Firecracker ground beef stir fry in my freezer and It's amazing. And not only that, are you going to be picking up those frozen entrees that you see at the grocery store? No, because those have sodium, high sodium in them. These you're able to control a little bit of that. So, if you don't like celery or are allergic to it, like this one, you can skip that and just continue to make it. They are so customizable and they are great for you and your family.
One of the things you might see in your grocery store freezer section is ground beef stroganoff, but you can make your own for a fraction of the price. And just like Christy was saying, you can know exactly what went in here and you can customize it. If you love mushrooms, add more mushrooms. If you're not really a big mushroom fan, add less or omit them altogether. There's ways that you can customize this. Our recipe uses a cream of mushroom soup in it, and those do have a fairly high sodium. So you can purchase one with low sodium, or you can Google a recipe for a homemade cream of mushroom soup and add that into the recipe. There's just so many ways that you can make this yours. So for this one, into your large freezer bag, you're going to add your ground beef, some diced onion, minced garlic, sliced mushrooms, Worcestershire sauce, cream of mushroom soup, sour cream, parsley, and a little bit of pepper. You're gonna get that all mixed up in your bag, get your air out, seal it, freeze it. When you go to make this one, you're gonna want to cook up some egg noodles to serve this on. So your egg noodles can cook up at the same time that you're warming this up in a skillet. Because your ground beef's already cooked, you're just waiting for those onions to soften a bit and your flavors to meld, and then you can serve this one over your egg noodles. If you want to get fancy, you can sprinkle a bit of parsley on it. It's not really a fancy dish, so that's why I'm laughing about the whole fancy thing.
We have a joke, a running joke actually, in our Facebook group. If you aren't in it, you should have a look and join it, because it is one of the nicest places on Facebook, on the internet, period. But this dish isn't really known for its beauty. It's quite ugly, but it is wildly popular, and it is one of our best freezer meals. It is one of our most used, most downloaded, most commented on, and it really is that good.
It's so funny because people will say, like, you guys talk about this in your videos, but it's just so ugly that I've never wanted, it's not appealing, but I finally caved and I had it and my family raved about it and it's going into the regular rotation. So
we're telling you, if you're gonna take a chance on any of these today, take it on this one.
If you're just looking for recipes, you might want to skip over this next part because we're known a little bit for our chattiness. And sometimes we talk about the books that we're reading. And
oh yes, we do. Are we having book club in the middle of ground beef skillets?
A little mini
book club.
Just very mini. Because I have to tell Christy this thing because Christy has been telling me about this author called Abby Jimenez. And she's the lady who had that... She had a viral post go about her Veggiode cakes. It was a cake that had a big geode in it. I was gonna say gash, but it has a big gash in it, and it looks like a geode. But just the way it was shaped, it looked like female body part.
And so it was, it just kind of went viral. And the best part about it was she took it on the chin like a champ. And she's funny, and her social media was on point. And it is how I learned about her. If you're in Minnesota, go to Nadia Cakes. That's where she is. I think she's franchised now. And I really, really want to go to Minneapolis, St. Paul, just to go have Nadia Cakes because of this. But then I find out she's an author, and let me tell you, I tripped running to the bookstore because
she's funny.
She's so funny, and darned if she isn't a good storyteller too.
So Christy's been telling me forever, you have to read an Abby Jimenez. And finally I was like, okay, tell me which one, tell me where to start, I'll go get one. I love to read, but I tend to read things that are a little bit darker, or I read some true crime. I read
You
biographies.
specifically asked for lighter.
I did.
Yes. And I read light books because I am not that deep of a person a lot of the time.
Well, I just needed some light in my life, and so I wanted to start with what I'm reading. And I got it. I don't know. I think you and I were together maybe when I got it, or...
I don't know which one it is. Because I give you a couple of options.
You did. I got this one, and I just started reading it. I'm on page 22, but I'm just excited to tell Christy about it, and you're here, so you get to hear about it too. It is the one where it starts with Reddit, and right away I was like, no wonder Christy loves this book, because you like reading Reddit.
I spend an uncomfortable amount of time on Reddit, yes.
So it's like there's a Reddit forum, and this guy is talking... It's a long story just to tell you the thing, but basically he has this knack for he's the good luck charm, because whoever dates him and breaks up with him, the next person they date is the one.
Oh no.
It's like...
Did I even read this book? I don't remember this.
Oh no.
That's the other best part about being in my brain is books are new all the time.
You did read it because you told me about it. Okay. And so then a girl... in another part of the country or whatever, reads about this guy because her friend tells her, hey, there's this guy that has the same thing you do. Because she also is like the good luck charm where people date her, break up with her, and the next person they date is the one they marry. So anyway, they start messaging each other.
Oh, that's cute.
And we'll see. I never read romance, and I have the feeling this one is not going to be it's going to have good character development. I can tell that already.
Well, because they're so real.
Right.
And because they're funny.
Yes.
They are funny.
So it is...
And the best friend relationship in this book.
Yes.
In real life, her best friend, I can't think of her name right now. They banter back and forth. They talk to each other all the time on social media. And she's they're like a Charlotte and Christy. And I think of us so much when I see their interactions and stuff. And I'm like, I want to write Abby and tell her that I have Caroline, or I can't think of her name right now.
Yeah.
I have one of them, and it's awesome to have one of them. Yeah.
It is, and so I'm excited because I love when you get into a book and you can't put it down, and I can tell that this is going to be an easy read and a light read, and it's going to make me smile, and I'm excited about it. And I'm also excited because I'm going to get to talk to Christy about it.
I'll have to reread it so I can have an actual conversation with her about it. I started a book this week from Reddit. It was totally just on a whim to start it, and somebody said somebody had talked about how they didn't like authors that got into super detail, and that doesn't really bother me. It really doesn't. I read a lot of Stephen King, and this man will develop a character for 4 pages, 10 pages, just to kill him off.
Right.
And so I'm all about the character development, and so I don't mind the minutiae of what is happening in somebody's life because it speaks great volume about who they are. And so this is, I can't think of the name of the author. It's a Japanese author. This is called Lady Joker.
Okay.
And I listen on Audible, so it's been translated into English, and somebody said it is one of the most detailed books I've ever read, but it has the biggest payoff I've ever experienced in a book, and it is a mystery.
Interesting.
And so these group of men get together and they kidnap a CEO of a beer company, but they all have their reasons.
Okay.
And so I'm getting to know each of these men and their families and their professions and what they were like when they grew up, and a little bit about Japanese culture, which is always interesting. And so I am enjoying that. And then last night I was at book club and we had just read Where'd You Go, Bernadette? And there was a movie of it with Cate Blanchett and Billy Crudup, who looks very fantastic in that movie, let me tell you. And actually so does Cate Blanchett. She is just beautiful. And Kristen Wiig is in it, and I love her. And so we enjoyed the book. We all liked the book. And I liked it so much that I immediately finished it and turned around and listened to it a second time so that I could annotate, because I don't do that for every book. There was things in this book that just grabbed me. And it's light, and it's funny, it's hilarious, but there's deeper stuff going on, and it was just enjoyable. So thank you for coming to this edition of Book Club with Charlotte and Christy.
And I'm not an audiobook girl. If you've been with us a while, you know that I cannot. I've tried, but I want to read more, and my life is such that I might have to cave and try again on the audiobook front, because it is so hard to find time to sit and read, and the only time I can really do it is if I go away, which I never do. And so it's like I read books on airplanes, like it's not often, but a decision that I made, because it's 2025 now, so a decision that I made for the new year is I'm never going to take my phone into the bathroom, because when you're brushing your teeth, you're like reading your phone, or you're putting your makeup on, you're reading your phone. So what I
doing
used
other
to
bathroom things that you didn't want to mention because it's a cooking show.
Yeah, you're reading your phone. So what I used to do is put my makeup bag to hold open my book, and I would get a lot of reading done, because 2 years ago I had this rule for myself, and it worked really well. And then I got out of the habit of it.
And then you got a toddler.
I got a toddler. And he's often in there with me when I'm trying to do my hair and my makeup and whatever. So anyway, this is my new thing, is I'm committing to myself that I'm going to read in the bathroom. And it might take me still a long time to get through even this light Abby Jimenez book, but I'm going to get through it a lot faster, because I at least have time set aside where, you brush your teeth for 2 minutes. I can read quite a few pages in 2 minutes. I'm a pretty fast reader.
You're a very fast reader. And Abby would be thrilled to know that you're reading in the bathroom. Like, that wouldn't bother her, and she would think that's great. So
you read where you can and when you can, right? How I'm going to segue this back into meals is, if I have no time to read, then I have no time to cook, right? So we've got recipes that are ready in a flash. This Korean ground beef rice bowl. For this, it's so fast to put together. So it's fast on the day that you assemble it, and then it's fast on the day you cook it. So this is like double whammy, fast. No, that's silly.
Fast. This is fast. Korean ground rice beef bowl. We totally need to. Ground beef rice bowl. Fast.
I'm
going to change the name of that. That's really funny.
All right, so you've got your ground beef in your bag, and you're gonna add some minced garlic, some ginger from that squeezy tube, some low sodium soy sauce, melted honey, sesame oil, and red pepper flakes. That's it. You're gonna get that squished in there and get it in your freezer. When you make it, now there is one extra step to this, but I believe in you. I know you can still do this. You are just gonna dump your bag contents into your skillet, but then you're gonna add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch into here when it's still cold. You're gonna whisk that so that it thickens it up a bit. You're gonna bring it to a boil, and then you're going to just cook it for 10 minutes. It's gonna thicken up, and then you're gonna serve this over rice. You can sprinkle it with green onions and some sesame seeds if you wanna be all fancy like.
Very fancy.
And you could serve this with some broccoli too. I think it would be really nice.
This one doesn't have a vegetable in it, so you're going to need to add a side, and that's totally okay. This just gives you a starting point, right? And we love that too. The reason we don't put the cornstarch in initially because I know you're thinking it. It's because it causes it to separate. It doesn't really freeze and thaw and then cook up nicely. So we add it in on the day of. And that's kind of the thing about freezer meals. You could really put any dish in the freezer, but it's not always going to come out nice and you cook it. So if you are new to freezer meals, or if you have questions like that, stick along with us. Like and subscribe, hit the bell so that we can come back and tell you everything we know about freezer meals, which is actually a lot.
A lot.
And the other thing you can do is in our description below, we have a link in there for a cheat sheet that will tell you what freezes well and what doesn't and what to do about it, like how to convert recipes to be freezer friendly.
And it's free, so you should go grab that.
This curried ground beef was a super hit at our house. It was an invention that Charla made up, and we have just put it into our regular rotation, and we like it every time. It just shows up in my freezer and we love it. Into our bag, we're adding our ground beef. We're going to add in minced onion, minced garlic, Madras curry paste. The more you add, the spicier it gets, but it's not really that spicy. Some cinnamon, turmeric, some fresh ginger, diced tomatoes, peeled and diced carrots, frozen peas, and a bit of salt and pepper. And that's it. Mix it around in your bag and into your freezer. Again, when you go to cook this, super fast. You're gonna thaw it, throw it into your skillet, and zip it up. You can put this with rice, you can put this with naan, you can put this with like Indian potatoes, like you know what I'm talking about. You see them on the buffet line and they have the turmeric and they're just really, really good. And this is just a really nice mild curry dish.
If you are looking for other recipes that you know are tried and true freezer meals, then we invite you to check out the Freezer Meals 101 Club. You can find the link for that below. That will enable you to not just use the recipes, but also print off your shopping list, your prep list, and your printable labels with the cooking instructions. We kind of think that it is the easiest way for you to do freezer meals.
It absolutely is, because putting them together is one thing. The mechanism behind that, of choosing your recipes and then tabulating all of your ingredients that you're going to need for even 5 recipes, gets daunting. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but we just listed off like a whole buttload of spices, let alone all of the vegetables that you need in this. So this tallies it for you. It makes it so easy. And to do that by hand, you run into mistakes, you forget things, and it takes time. And sometimes that part is overwhelming and you never get started. So using our system will make it so easy for you. You just, a few button clicks and you just pick your recipes. We've done the hard work for you. Short of us coming to your house and cooking it for you, it could not be simpler. And we have the best recipes of any of the other clubs that are out there. So just so you know that.
Tooting your own horn.
I will toot my horn because they don't have the magic of Charla's palate that knows these things. So, you know, they are really, really good. And we put them through their paces. Every single meal that is in the club has been made by us, frozen and cooked and eaten and passed the test. And we're picky.
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of recipes that don't pass the test. And we're gonna have a video coming up in about a month where we're gonna show you our most epic fails.
Because we have them, and it's for your safety and for your luck that we have these epic fails. And we are the guinea pigs here and our poor families.
They have to try these meals, and honestly, we did a mega session not very long ago. I will pop the link for that right up there. And we always try new recipes when we do a mega session. For those of you not familiar, that's when we make 3 months of meals in over a 2-day period. And so far, the ones we've tried from that mega session have been really good, and some of them are definitely club worthy. Some of them are like tweak a little and then club worthy, you know, but there was one where I was like, just no, like my poor family. And here I was thinking that I made like this really restaurant quality meal, because in theory it was.
Yeah.
But
it didn't translate.
No. So there were people that ate cereal that night. There were people, but then I have one son, my least picky son, and he was like, I was gonna throw the leftovers away. I was just like, no, like that, no.
It was an obvious dud.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I'll eat those. Like, don't throw those. I'll totally eat the leftovers. I'm like, okay, you go ahead, you have fun with that, but the rest of us, we're gonna move on. Anyway, so yes, we do try these, test these our families are the guinea pigs, and we bring you only the best. So thank you for being with us today while we shared some ground beef skillet meals with you. We hope that this can help make your life easier, and we hope that you'll join us next time for freezer meals, book club thoughts, or yeah, next time it probably won't be book club thoughts, but it'll be other thoughts.
We have lots of thoughts, and sometimes we say them out loud, even if we shouldn't.
So, yeah, thanks.
Stick around.
Happy cooking.
Bye.